We are back today for round 2 of the Platinum Tour here at the most Augusta-like, not Augusta, that you can pretty well get here for the Masters. So, round 1, 10 under, pretty solid start to the tournament. Cut line, though, is looking like it's going to be somewhere in the 20 to 21 under ballpark. So, we're going to have to double down here, do what we did yesterday, hopefully a bit better, sneak in for some weekend action. So today we are on the white tees, medium winds out of the south, default fairways, which I believe are firm, moderate greens that are very fast. So course conditions stay, they're a little bit firmer. Winds come down, greens are just as quick, but hopefully things are a little more friendly. But let's go on and get after it. If you are new here or have been enjoying these over on YouTube and have not already subbed, I would greatly appreciate it if you did. It goes a long way. But let's not delay any longer. Let's play some golf. That's a beautiful little cut up there for the first shot. Now the drives are important here, obviously, because if you're off the fairway, these approaches require so much precision that having variability in it is not going to be good. But approach game is really where we're going to be making our money today, that and putting. So see what we can do. Gap wedge up the hill here, already like into the mid 130s. Wind is going to take it a little bit. Now the thing we want to do here is probably not play the backstop too much. You're going to want to fly this up. I think we can pretty safely say 133, wind just a touch. Hopefully this is straight at it. Okay, it's gonna have a little bit of break. Trying to get it straight at it because that's where the uphill putt is at. But let's see if we can bend one in here to start. Okay. That's big. We need as many of these scores as we can get. So let's get after it early. Try and build ourselves a bit of a cushion, because the last thing that we want to be doing is trying to chase scores at the end. We want to get scores at the end, don't get me wrong. But we don't want to be forced to have to score everything. Alright, little slow, but this will carry the bunker. And the hope here is that we've left enough fairway to get left and not get out into that rough and just ride down the hill. Because this is, if we can get down here a good ways, I mean, look at this. 410, 415. 416 yards on the drive. We get 160 yards into this thing. Oh, okay. So we're talking wedges. And if we can sit it up on this shelf and give ourselves, I mean, this is pretty reasonable if we can get somewhere in close to that. Now, we can't go down to the gap wedge, so pitching wedge it is. 155. The lie at my feet is what concerns me most here. I think we're flying it like right up to the hole. I'm gonna take a little bit off. Alright, I'm expecting this to still come back over to the right, so that's why we're playing it like this. Pushed it a little bit. Push it a little bit more than I would like to. Hopefully this has enough bite to stay on the shelf and just leave. Okay. Yeah, got a little bit pushy with that one. It's a touch uphill, touch right to left. Alright, so how is this gonna go is the real question. You've got a bunch of break in the early going. I think I need a little bit more, and then... hit it a little bit firm. Okay. Just the right amount. Just the right amount to squeeze that in low side. That's the kind of start you dream about. That's the kind of start you dream about. Alright, we're gonna have to play this probably as some sort of cut. Some sort of bigger cut here to, like, get it around the tree and keep it out of the bunker. Alright, this should kick left and we should be in perfect position here. Alright, we're just a little bit short on this lob wedge pitch. Which is kind of problematic because going up a club here and having to take a little bit off of it is going to be tough. Alright, I put a little bit of spin back onto this. I'm hoping that it's fine. We'll take that. We'll take that. I took a touchback off of the spin just in case. I didn't want it to, like, get into a spot where we land and then start going. But that uphill and wind and loft and everything really settling things down quite a bit. Alright. So you got it started with turn, and then it's more at the end, I feel like. Gotta sweat these 7-footers. You just can't take anything for granted in this. Right? Like, you're gonna hit this, it's gonna... It's just like, it's such a tap, and I think that's the part that... That's the part that gets me with these. Yep. See, that's the concern right there, is it's such a small amount of power to get the putt going. We gotta make the comebacker. Okay. So I think I have to commit. Like, I think there's obviously a fear of green speed, but I think for the way that I read these putts, I just have to commit to the pace that I would normally want to play. 225, 232, and then some wind, but I don't think the 4-iron gets there. 235. 244, wind. Oh boy. I'm so in between clubs, it's not even funny. What are we gonna do with this? 227. .234. And then wind. I'd have to overpower the four iron to get it there. That all feeds in. Hitting a driver punch shot is dumb too. You like don't want to climb too high, but at the same time, I just don't want to put it in the bunker and have to splash up over that. So 235, 244, and then the wind's gonna probably carry it a little bit more. .244 is only a few yards further than this. .99% and slow. I'm hoping that's enough to kill it. It's out to the right, takes a little kick left. Oh, that's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. We've got a slider though. Gotta commit. Whatever we pick on this. Gotta commit to it. Whatever we pick, we just gotta commit. Yeah, I really think we could have made that third putt if I just, like, committed to the putt that we had. Either way, though, phenomenal start. I felt a little bit fast, but I think we're enough right that we're not going to get a crazy kick left. This is a pretty friendly way to play the fifth hole. You get a tailwind, like to be able to take a lob wedge in on this hole is kind of crazy because I'm pretty sure we were taking like a 6 iron in yesterday. .116, maybe 117. That's so close. Because it's 121 to the hole. Hey, thank you, TFR. Appreciate it. An interesting swing, but it's enough to get us over. It'll roll a little bit here. Yeah, I didn't commit to like really spinning it back just in case, but this is a putt back up the hill, so all in all, it's honestly not incredibly too bad. Oh, wow, it didn't break. It was just like the baby enough break that I played too much on it. Because I'm always kind of just scared of that breaking too much. So I don't know that I'm ever going to play that differently. Yeah, I want to make it, obviously, but I don't know that I'm ever going to do anything different about that. All right, so 214 from elevation. Wind is playing a little over 9. Or is probably playing about 9 or 10 and in more. So we play that more like 11. So 214, 203. And give it just like a touch on the backspin, but I don't wanna lose this thing short. I slowed it. I completely backed out of that shot. So we're gonna have a long putt. We're on the green, but I backed out of that one entirely. All right, this is just lag it close, get the par. That was really, really bad. It's 5 inches down. We gotta be at least there and then double. Then I'll just play it a little bit safe. So this comes out just a bit to the right to start. And then as we get down here, things start to swing. And we're slow, and it's drifting, and it's drifting, and it's drifting. Not too bad, although that does get a little bit low and long. So yeah, that right there is pretty much what I needed to play on the 5th hole. As far as like amount of break. All right. Just got to get back to committing. Got to get back to committing. It's not just to putts, it's to everything. You have to be confident and committed on every shot that you take. Anytime that we, get a little bit lax or take a little bit of focus off, that's going to get us deeply in trouble. All right, red slope behind. I'm thinking about just taking this as a stock shot. Thinking seriously about taking this as a... right up into that little backstop. Should have a little bit of roll on it to come back down and at least get to flat enough. Honestly, part of me was like tempted to put a little bit of, take some of the spin off and let it go. We're right on a little bump. Okay. So hot start, slowed down a little bit, picked up another birdie. Now we've got a par 5. So if we can find... I don't know if right side or left side is best here, but if we can find fairway, that's going to give us the opportunity to go in after this. So let's think about it. If we take this here, that's 258 in... 285... I think it's fairly similar from either side, to be honest. Now, driver into wind and uphill somewhat. This just feels safer to me. Just like a punchier driver. Oh, that's kind of a mean bounce. Sit, 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 sit. Okay. I didn't think it was going to kick that far to the left, but now we are pretty much in driver off the deck territory because it's so uphill. So the only concern is the driver hitting that slope, but like I can't take this because it's 17 yards, 241, upper 230s, and then the wind. So 3-wood is short. %85%. So what? 270. About 255. And then the uphill. 255. 238. Wind. I'm gonna take just lofted driver here. Lofted driver. Let it ride out to the right. Wind should kind of hold it. Just don't climb the backstop fully. Like, come back down. Because the putt, if we get above this ridge, the putt is very, very difficult. Okay, that's pretty good. we like 7 feet. What we like better is making these, so. Two for two on the Eagles. 2 for 2 on the Eagles. That's huge. Absolutely massive stuff. Just thinking about this. So that's where the flag is. So if you go like way down, then you're covering more of the bunker, but then you have more backstop. Just, I think it's okay to go. Hey, thank you, Sparky. How are we doing? All right, so this is down a little bit further, but the thought process with this is now we've got a backstop. So 11 yards here is 42, at least 40, and then the wind in a little bit. Uphill quite a ways. But should be enough that it goes uphill lie. It's gonna be a tough shot. I'm like trying to utilize backstop a little bit. Or rather, not utilize backstop, but like... yeah, no, utilize backstop. More so as like try and use it as a safety, not actually like go right up to it, but you know what? That works. That works. Now we've got 9 foot uphill an inch with a little bit of movement here. All right, how much are we breaking? How much are we breaking? Okay, so we said we needed to do a lot on the front so that coming home we didn't have to make everything. Well, that's 8 under going out, and if we only need 10 or 11, we've set ourselves up about as best as we possibly can. Now, the job's not done. We can't give stuff back, and we've got to, you know, we got to do some good things here, but that's a pretty solid start. Now, the question with this hole becomes... do you just full send it down into the light rough back here and take that shot in? There's a lot of green to work with, so there's an argument to be made. The other would just be, you know, your typical layup into the fairway and, you know, leave yourself like a pitching wedge in. I'm gonna go as bold as to say the play is actually to go out to the right and be closer for like a pitch. So we're gonna try it. Hopefully this doesn't get us screwed. But I think with the amount of space that we have on the green from this angle, even though it's a little bit less control, might not be so bad. And maybe even we can take like a fully backspun lob wedge or something. Because it's a decent range, like 5%. Let's say we lose 6 yards, it's 105, it's pin high. And then we've got wind at the back a few yards, so... think that we could be on to something. I underhit that and slow, but like the nice thing here is we have, yeah, we botched this because now with the spin we're gonna have a putt. I hit a bad input, but I think this was the approach angle. You just can't. I don't know what that was, but you can't hit. You can't hit that. All right, so we'll get this out to the side. Suffering from allergies? Yeah, man. I went to the driving range today because it was so nice out, and I had a sheet of green all around my car. Sprayed the windshield. You get the windshield wiper like outline with the thick pollen lines on the outside. All right. So we need 5. Just trying to like imagine on this, like if we hit it, probably have to be pretty far over to the side here. Trying to like find a fall line of sorts, but I think I left it way too short. I mean, you're so concerned about pace on something like that. Okay. Good recovery. Very poor. Like, I don't think the drive is the bad play. I think that's just a horrendous input that doesn't deserve anything on the approach. All right. Par 4 here, but you've got quite a bit of tailwind. So we're going to try and send it down here as far as we possibly can. You got the front hole location with the tailwind, so it's still going to be tough even if we get like a friendly club in here. Downhill, downwind, downhill lie, but that might all add up. That might all add up for us. How much? Like 10 or 11. $130. 138. Downhill lie. I don't know. I don't know how much this downhill lie is going to do to this shot. Because there's part of me that says, like, draw it with full backspin. And there's the other part of me that's like, that's probably still going to be too much club. But, like, very quickly, this gap wedge goes long. So I think I am going to go with the sandwich. Like, it's fully backspun. I just don't see how... I don't see how it can completely get away from us. Famous last words. A little bit high up there. Yeah, look at that bounce. Well, I guess that's the how. I guess that's the how. Should just make sure you find the green on your landing and like play the lofted gap wedge, because that's gonna sit softer. So lesson learned. I mean, kind of one of those things that we see coming to an extent, but in a sense also just didn't fully believe or trust. So that's pure boneheadedness on my part. That was a really good putt. Little bit too firm. Just a little bit too firm, but that was real nice. Okay. Barely. So we go par on the turn. We gotta turn it back up. Gotta turn it back up. We got this par 3, which in a very dangerous spot, and then we get the par 5. I think we gotta loft this. I think this is just writing ourselves a death wish. Trying to squeeze a gap wedge here. Like, I'd be an idiot. So 158 and then call it 10, 168. So we gotta just loft it with some spin here. We're gonna have just a little quick downhill putt here, but I can't trust myself to put it shorter than that, so. Little to the right. Little to the right. Flat or little left there? Am I saying the backwards things? Little right to left, little right to left. Kinda holds and then flat behind. Don't want to de-green, but also want to hit it firm so that it doesn't really take. That's a ballsy putt. I'm gonna play it simple, but there's such subtle movement in it that I feel like you have to go firm down the hill there, or else like I'm pretty much just running the risk of any sort of ghost break getting us caught out. Hey, what's going on, McTrees? Yeah, like I think you just. I think if I play that the way that I normally would, which is like 4 inches of power taken off, I think I'm pretty much almost always looking at a miss putt. Because my luck would have it that if I aimed enough to the right, it wouldn't break back. Like there'd be a ghost break back to the left, like left to right, or something of that nature. Hey, what's going on, Scotty? Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome to Amen Corner. Or I guess the end of it. But how are we doing? Hope you had a good stream. We're looking to make a cut here. We shot 10 under in round 1. We are currently 9 under through 12. We've birdied the first 2 par 5s, looking to make it 3. Redeem the dab? Yeah, sure thing, bud. Sure thing. But good to have y'all. For those unfamiliar, my name is Colby. We play competitive virtual golf just like Scotty does. Currently on round 2 of the Masters. 253, 248. Wind is in. I feel like this is bound to be short. And like stay short. This is a tough one, but I have to. Oh, I like that. Get down though. I can live with that. I can live with that. Do we chip it though? Been rolling it pretty well. I know it's a fringe putt, which is always kind of scary. All right. The question is, how much is the break in the first part of this? I think I need just a little bit more. Oh, still needed more. That was a little bit firm too. Oh, wow. I don't know, like, there's part of me that wants to chip it. Like, there's definitely a part of me that says, okay, you should chip this. You got too much break right at the start of this putt. But it's like, it's so hard for me to justify at that distance right off of the fringe taking the chip shot. But I guess, I don't know, the way that we've been chipping it recently, it's probably would have been a fair thing to attempt. Hey, what's going on, Jimmy? Welcome back. Coming in, wasting over 9,000 channel points in one fell swoop. The man just has too much power. Spent too much time here is really what that comes down to. But thank you for taking the time to rack up all those points. How are the darts today, sir? This is honestly kind of terrifying, but like, we have to find the fairway in between trees in the bunker. That's pretty good. Should do the trick. Oh, Pod's in on it too? Nice. I didn't know. I haven't seen Pod too much these days. I didn't know he was in on the darts action as well. It's got quite a good amount of people from the golf community who have gotten into it. I know there's a bunch of British folk, and that's, you know, already a very common pub game and everything. Get right a little bit and sit. Alright, I mean, we're pin high. Slightly downhill, but it doesn't look like there's too much going on in this putt, which is hopefully a good thing for us. Little bit of movement to the right at the start and a little bit at the end, but I think this can then just be simply put here with pace and in. Maybe too much pace? Hey, welcome back, Yabba. Darts, as they say in the UK, is the darts. Live and breathe it. Yeah, like, it was always just, every once in a while, somebody would have one, like, in their basement or something, but, yeah, my friend had, like, a plastic dartboard. I had a magnetic one, you know, at some point in time. But that was like a little desk one. Yeah, so it was like some little, like, oh, look, I got darts. Oh, what was that one game? There was, it was like, it has nothing to do with darts, but it's kind of like a skee ball darts game. I don't know, you bounced a ball, metal ball into a skee ball board, and it had like a little trampoline. What the heck was that game called? That's kind of fun. Had like some speed component to it, if I remember correctly. My mind is just jumping around to like the random games I had around the same time as a kid, so pardon the sporadicness there. 222. The 4-iron, that's gonna have so much roll, but at the same time, 214, 210. You're interested now? We'll have to figure it out after this round if somebody can't remember. $226, 222 to 220 and wind in. But I need a little bit of loft and some spin. Mini pool tables? Yeah, there was a friend of mine who, like, I think his older brother had a mini pool table. Which, like, to me, as somebody who didn't have a pool table, was pretty cool. You know? But in the grand scheme of things. A little bit slow. But that might hit fairway then and get an extra kick, and if that kick's left, maybe that'll end up net positive. That's gonna end up being too much roll. Wow, I don't know how that stays up. I don't know how that stays up. pretty steep. Let's see, it's gonna roll out, but it's gonna have some spin. So I gotta put it something like here, uphill, and then it has to be like pretty good amount. That's 3 eagles on the round. That is big, big stuff. Snooker table in the bedroom with the tiny cue for the shots against the wall. I've only come to learn of snooker in the past couple of years. I was only familiar with billiards or pool, yeah, whatever you want to call it. I did not know of snooker until more recently. After some more exposure to the British population. Okay, so 9-iron with this wind, I think is gonna sit somewhere down just a little bit shy of here. So I think you take the 9 and you loft it up just a bit. And then we're gonna hit it right. But I do think that this is enough wind to kind of hold it up. I'll underhit it. Hopefully that's beneficial. The fast takes us a little left. Okay, so we're on the shelf. Not close enough to be like we get a straight putt. We get this little bit of bend at the start here, but it says it's downhill. It doesn't seem like it's too bad though. It's just all the break is at the start of this putt, yeah? The cut line, we're projecting 20 to 21. So long as we don't blow up here at the end, we've done enough. Ah. Just took a little bit too much at the start. It's so hard. Those ones for me, it's all about that start line. And it just breaks a little bit more than we're anticipating. You know what? Honestly, this doesn't seem that bad to me. This approach shot. Just gotta find fairway here, which our ball striking has been pretty good today. It's definitely gone a long, long way for us. So now we get a little pitch shot. And this is all just spin control. You would ideally want to be like right here or so. But it's also not too bad. In my opinion, right above the hole is not as bad as it looks. There's not a ton going on other than the slope, but we just really want to put it very, very close and then control the spin on it. So like have it bounce and then like a half spin to really just let it bounce and check. I hit it so slow. Pitches always are a problem for me, and I went off of my cue for whatever reason. Normally I look at the club head at the top of the swing for pitch shots. That tends to be good for me. For whatever reason there, I kind of didn't look at it and then ended up just going so slow with it. So we just got to make sure that we cozy this putt up. Don't do anything too dumb. I mean, if we make it, that would be cool, but just as long as it's close. Yeah, underhit it just a touch. That was the right read. All right, bad inputs are going to happen. We've had a few of them today, but as long as we can continue to play smart everywhere else. And that should find fairway. So we get one last opportunity here. Let's make something happen on 18. We've had a very solid round, 13 under so far. If we can stick something up top, maybe put it to 14 and be quite pleased with some weekend action. So say we get 8 off here, and this is... Are we going to really need a 5-iron here? This is kind of crazy. 193. We've got a terrible lie, so 189, and then yeah, I actually think we're just taking a stock 5 here. I was not prepared for this. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to loft that up. Okay, so I didn't do this earlier. Let's see if this is a sign. We didn't chip the one earlier. We putted it. Well, this has a lot of break as well. Very similar situation. I think we want to land it a little bit short of here because it's going to bounce and roll a little bit. Oh, man. It landed just a hair short, so it took the kick out to the other side instead of being right up at it. But you know what? 13 under. Pretty solid stuff. Considering we had a couple of mistempos in there, 3 eagles getting the job done for us. So we're looking at the weekend. We have a cut made in the major. 23 should be very, very comfortable. We're going to clear one of those demo marks. So now we've got moving day and Sunday. So very curious to see what we can do. If we can pull off a few more of these rounds, maybe we can find ourselves a pretty solid finish. But let's get after it tomorrow.